Hello and welcome to Chargers Talk 4630 podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Mallory. And as always, I do what I do to make this a home where Charger fans can come get some good content. Thanks to all of you who take a little time out of your schedule to tune into us. And before we get started, if I can ask you, go onto YouTube, go to the search engine, type in Chargers Talk 4630, press the like button, give a thumbs up, hit the bell on the right. And as always, it costs you absolutely nothing to subscribe. This way, you'll never miss a show or podcast. And also, your device, whether it's a tablet, a phone, or computer, it will send you a notification as a reminder that either we're live on the air or we just reached the latest content. And remember, you don't have to just be a Chargers fan because everyone who listens and supports us is always welcome here. Again, I can't thank you enough. And welcome to another segment of Chargers Talk 4630. And we're discussing, I want to touch a little bit on Brandon Staley. Is his time running out in Los Angeles? I was on X and I was commenting about that the last couple of days. There's a lot of people that still support Brandon Staley and still come to his defense. Me personally, I want to see Brandon Staley do well. I do root for Brandon Staley to succeed because if Brandon Staley succeed, that means the Los Angeles Chargers succeed. But I have to go with what my eyes see. Since Brandon Staley has been there the last 3 years, it's been so many ups and downs and twists and turns and peaks and valleys. And things could be so much easier. I think we have a very good, talented team. I just don't believe that the players forgot how to play. When you look at Joey Bosa, yes, he does have an injury history right now. He gets hurt a little too much. We've seen him play at an all-pro level. We've seen Derwin James play at an all-pro level. I've seen Asante Samuel perform at an all-pro level. J.C. Jackson, before the trade, came over from the New England Patriots, and this guy was just Mr. INT. 20-plus interceptions the last 4 years. At that time, of the trade, that was more than any other quarterback in the National Football League. But for some reason, he hasn't been able to play within the scheme that Brandon Staley, who came over as supposedly guru from spending time the linebackers coach with the Denver Broncos, Chicago Bears, and then defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. This guy was supposed to be a specialty at what he do. But this defense has gotten worse and worse and worse. And it's hard to watch. It pains me to see that Brandon Staley constantly put this defense in bad situations. You can't tell me why the media was in love with Derwin James and calling him the best safety in the league. There was a reason why. Same thing for J.C. Jackson, who's now gone. Asante Samuels had a great rookie campaign as a corner. What happened? They got progressively worse under Brandon Staley. Is his defense that complex? The decision-making that he made last year when the Chargers clinched a playoff spot and couldn't get no higher with the position that they currently had, which means the last game they played meant absolutely nothing. And what'd he do? He played the starters into the third quarter. Justin Herbert was getting knocked around a lot. And unfortunately, Michael Williams, who do have an injury history and was out early in the season and then came back on strong toward the end, and we would love to have seen what he could do down the playoff stretch we were going in against the Jaguars. Unfortunately, one of our best receivers wasn't available because Brandon Staley decided to play him in a game that meant absolutely nothing. People don't want to talk about it, but that hurt. That really, really hurt us. So now you go up against the Jaguars and you're up 27 nothing. I give him credit. Asante Samuel was shining. Everybody on defense was shining. Brandon Staley was looking good. And we were all rooting for him. And then what happened? At halftime, they went in, the Jaguars, they made their adjustments. We didn't make any adjustments at all. And then all of a sudden, it unraveled. And it seemed like every time things get tight, the decision making from your head coach means so much more. Coaching really, really do matter. And just as it seemed like we were in complete control, it fell apart. It was nothing he could do. I remember that game. It hurt me so much to watch that game. I saw Joey Bosa have a meltdown. We seen when he got mad and slammed his helmet on the ground, and Brandon Staley ran and grabbed it to him. He took it from him and he slammed it back to the ground again. He don't respect Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley might be a really nice guy and a player's coach. I don't know what it is, if the players playing a little bit up too late, playing Xbox at night. I don't know what's going on in that locker room. But I don't see the team that I expected to see with the impactful players that they have, especially on the defensive side. And then the two games that we almost gave away with Minnesota and the Raiders, and it took two interceptions by Kenneth Moore and Asante Samuel to escape with a victory. We should have been 0-5. But I believe Brandon Staley constantly put this defense in bad situations. What about the feel of the game? Why does it always have to be analytics says this is what you do in this certain situation? What about what's going on in the game? And analytics don't tell what the weather conditions are. I don't like it. This is a huge game tomorrow, just like Dallas was. But this is a huge game. It's no need to talk about Kansas City. I was on early in the week with a Kansas City fan, and we know what Kansas City bring to the table. And unfortunately, it bothers me a lot because I see teams that I was happy early that we faced that didn't seem like they were much of a threat. And then all of a sudden, I mean, we played the Tennessee Titans. Treylon Burks hadn't done anything in the season. He had one catch for 5 yards. It was non-existence in this season. But he come to play the Chargers. And how do we allow this guy to get in a very tight game? Let's take a peek at this. In this very tight game, as you can see, look at this. Look at that. Wide open downfield. This guy hadn't did that at all. He did that. He hadn't been able to separate a little bit from anybody. But then plays with us and, takes the top off. It should never happen. It should just never happen. And that all falls on your head coach, who's the defensive coordinator. Let me show you something else. I'm going to show you this still picture. And this is from the first game against the Miami Dolphins. Yes, I'm stating my case that Brandon Staley is in a lot of trouble. We look at this here, and I circled it. That's the opening drive, the first game of the season against the Miami Dolphins. That's the very first play. As you can see from the circle, and I'll even show you the video. Who is that? That is Khalil Mack. The opening drive of the game against the Miami Dolphins lined up right across from Tyreek Hill, the fastest, most dangerous wide receiver in our league right now. Look at that again. There's the picture where I circled. That's Khalil Mack right in front of Tyreek Hill. Bad, bad, bad. and he start to recognize it. He's pointing, saying, "Hey, somebody going to get him." Tyreek Hill ended up getting about a 15-yard play. Nobody covered him. Khalil knew he couldn't stick him, but that's the small things that I'm talking about with Brandon Staley. Those are the little things that I'm talking about Brandon Staley. I don't see, and I put those up so that people can see clearly we have a coaching problem. These players that all have played at a high level, they didn't forget how to coach. I'm sorry, they didn't forget how to play the game, but the schemes, man. I don't know how you guys have so much faith. Every single Charger game, when the game is over, instead of talking about the great performance that we had in the game that was played, the only thing we're talking about is a controversial decision that shouldn't have been made by Brandon Staley. Time is running out. Time is running out. We saw it happen year one, year two. I mean, even if you want to point out Kellen Clemens, I haven't heard anybody say anything negative about Kellen Clemens, and I haven't neither. But let's be honest. Justin Herbert numbers and how we see the play calling, we are not seeing the same success level that we've seen his last 3 years. As much as we fussed about Joe Lombardi, is Kellen Clemens really that much better? Did you see the play calling and the sweeps with Mike Williams against the Cow? Did we see the double sweep with these big, maybe it was Donald Parham or something, but where's Quentin Johnston? Where's Darius Davis? Where are these guys? Kellen Clemens, that you was brought here for that. This was our number one pick in the first round. We hear about all the yak, all the yards he get after the catch, how it's so hard to bring him down, how fast he is, but yet you won't call his number. And there's people on X that's calling him a bust, but we don't know if he's a bust because we haven't seen him play. Now, I get it. You have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Joshua Palmer. It would have been hard for him to crack into that three-man rotation. But since Mike Williams went out for the season, we expected to see more Quentin Johnston. And we're not. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a coaching problem. That's the issue. We have a coaching issue. And I know people talk about the owners and all that kind of stuff. And they talk about the media, how they kill Herbert. Remember a time when Herbert was, his first couple of years was winged it all over the yard. They was in love with Herbert. The media was, it's all over Herbert. Oh, they was just wow. They were being wowed by all his throws and the cross the body. You remember that? Where the announcer will be just laughing in glee every time they seen him throw a rocket downfield. They who don't want to be right? The media was bashing over the Chargers with all this talent and bashing over Justin Herbert because it would have justified why they were so in love with this dude. But you know, as soon as it starts crumbling and you're not doing that good, nobody wants to be with a loser. They start jumping off the wagon. So just like everybody love all the attention when you're doing good, you got to be willing to accept the criticism from media and fans when they're not doing good. And right now, they look like a very bad team that's unorganized, come out of a bye week to play the Cowboys, had 10 days to prepare, was fully rested, came back pretty healthy for the most part, with the exception of the center, Corey Linsley and Mike Williams. And everybody was all out of sorts. Herbert missing passes all over. The defense didn't, I mean, everybody looked like they were undisciplined, unprepared, and was not ready to play. That is bad, bad, bad. Brandon Staley, you on a hot seat. We have to go into Arrowhead tomorrow. And there's a lot of things that got to break our way for us to pull that off. And I'm pulling for Brandon Staley. I'm pulling for these Chargers to get a victory. And I don't care if it's by half a point, get the dub. Because if it's crazy now in Charger Nation, imagine what it's going to look like if the Chargers lose that game and it's another tight one and it's coming down to a coaching decision. It's easy to coach games where you're cruising. It's easy to coach games when you're cruising and have a nice lead. But when things get tight, the game is extremely tight. You got 3 minutes left in a game. That's where coaching comes in. And that's what we're missing, in my belief. I'll be pulling for the Chargers tomorrow to knock off the Chiefs. I want that so bad to get back on track. But I have to be honest, I don't have a lot of confidence in the head coach to be able to have the ability to put together a scheme, put together a game plan, have the players play discipline, have the players to be where they're supposed to be, have them prepared to play a hard, tough division game and stay in this race. I don't have any confidence in that. I hope that I'm wrong. I really do hope that I'm wrong. But Brandon Staley, know that you're just not on a hot seat. The seat is on fire. You're on fire. And you're waiting for the ambulance to come, the fire department to come and put the fire out. If you coach this game the way it's supposed to be coached, smart, and have these players ready to play, and don't take necessary gambles unless you have to, I'm confident. At least I want to believe in my heart. The Chargers know what's at stake. And they'll come out and play a good game. But we'll see. We'll see. But Brandon Staley, I believe, is in a lot of trouble. This is all on him. You can't tell me people like the Joey Bosa's and the Derwin James and the Asante Samuels, all of these guys forgot how to play football. It's coaching. And I don't know who's out there. But if we lose this game tomorrow, I think we can expect to see a coaching decision. Who it's going to be, I don't know. But I'm all in on the Chargers because I don't have a choice. I got too much time invested. I got too much money invested. And too many emotions invested. I've been emotionally locked and attached to this team for 44 years. So, of course, I want to see them do good. But we want to win. We need to win bad, or it's going to get a whole lot worse in Charger Nation, and X going to blow up a whole lot more than it had been these last couple of weeks. So I just want to come in, and I don't want to vent or rant on X anymore because all kind of things come out when you start doing that, and people insults start getting thrown around. I'm not about that stuff. I'm not about fighting with Charger fans, and you shouldn't be. Everybody have a right to have their opinion as long as they're not being disrespectful or threatening another person. You have a right to your opinion, whether we agree or disagree. We shouldn't lose respect for each other. And I see that happen a lot. So I'm going to do my talking right here. I love my team more than anybody else. I spend just as much money flying out to California. I want the team to win. But when I see things that are problems, when I see a coaching issue, when I see a player issue, I believe in what my eyes see. I'm going to call it. It's called constructive criticism. So I want you guys to have a great rest of your Saturday and your weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow out in Arrowhead. I'll be right there front and center rooting for my Chargers. I want Justin Herbert to do Justin Herbert things. Still believe in this team. I still believe in the offense. Only thing I need to do is that Brandon Staley always get the podium and talk about holding everybody accountable, and I want him to hold himself accountable. I don't want you to do nothing crazy going forward on fourth down in the first quarter on our own 15-yard line. That's not good coaching. I don't care, people. That's not good coaching. So we'll come on after the game, win or lose, and we'll have our discussion and our summary of what happened. And believe me, it gets harder and harder. It's hard to do these podcasts and have Charger fans come on and voice their opinion on how they feel if you're losing, especially in the fashion and the way that we lose. But it's much easier when you get the victory. So I'm hoping and praying that happened. Come on, Austin Eckler. Come on, Justin Herbert. Come on, Kenneth Murray and Khalil Mack. I don't know if Joey's going to play. Now he hears his little toe. I'm like running out of patience with Joey Bosa. You know, I watch the 49ers and see Nick, and man, if he could be a third of what Nick is, we would be all right. But it's always something. It's just always something. Everybody that's a Charger fan knows it's always something all the time. If it ain't the coach, if it ain't the players, I just want them to get it together. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Derwin James, but I'm starting to see a lot of criticism from Brandon Staley at press conference about Derwin, and rightfully so. Derwin deserved to be criticized. Derwin at one time was considered the best safety in the league. Derwin was a for sure tackler. Derwin knew everything. He was played at an all-pro level. What's happening? I don't know, but I hope they get it together because it's going to get very ugly in Charger land if we don't come out of Arrowhead with that victory. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Please remember, go over to YouTube and go on my page, which is Chargers Talk 4630. Make sure you press a like, you hit the notification bell, make sure you give a thumbs up, and more importantly, make sure you subscribe so you can continue to get the content that comes out. And this is a platform that I want for Charger fans to be able to come on here, share their opinions, and vent. And we have different guests that come on every week. I had Bob Vanoy from Jersey that came in and did an interview, and we had a very good conversation about the Chiefs. You guys should check that out. I believe that was Monday or Tuesday. But let's go, Bolts. Let's get this done tomorrow. Let's get this done tomorrow, and everybody can get this nasty taste and this bad feeling out of your body. Let's get this win tomorrow. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow after. I'll see you on X, and I'll see you after the game, whether we win or lose. Hopefully, I'm coming on here to do a victory toast, or I'm going to come on here and we're going to comfort each other like we do all the time. But cheers. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the games. And remember, bolt up.